Good morning, students. Today we will start a new topic that is gravitation. Now open page 131 of NCERT book. I am reading few lines from gravitation, that we know that the moon goes around the earth. So you all are familiar with this fact. An object when throws upward reaches to certain height and then falls downwards. So whenever we throw an object from the earth's surface, it attains some height and then gradually its velocity is zero at the highest point, and then it starts returning back towards the earth. It is said that when Newton was sitting under a tree, an apple fell on him. The fall of apple made Newton start thinking. He thought that if the earth can attract an apple, can it not attract the moon? So Newton was sitting in a garden and he saw that an apple is falling from a tree. So he thought that yes, apple falls downwards because earth attracts the apple. So he was thinking, why not earth is attracting moon? He conjectured that the same type of force is responsible in both the cases. He argued that at each point of its orbit, the moon falls towards the earth. Instead of going off in a straight line, so it must be attracted by the earth, but we do not really see the moon falling towards the earth. Let us try to understand the motion of moon by recalling activity 8.11. So a very simple activity: take a piece of thread, tie a small stone at one end, hold that other end of the thread and reel it in round as shown in figure. So you have to take a thread, tie a stone at one end of the thread and hold the second end of the thread and reel it round. So note the motion of the stone. Release the thread. Again note the direction of motion of the stone. So initially when you are reeling it, it performs a circular motion, but when you release the thread, you will find that the stone was moving in this path, circular path, and somewhere if you release the stone, so this stone will move in this direction. It means it will make a tangent with this point, with the center. So tangentially it will fly out. Suppose this stone is here, so if you release it here at this point, it will move in this direction. So before the thread is released, the stone moves in a circular path with certain speed and changes direction at every point. The change in direction involves change in velocity or acceleration. As you know, we have discussed earlier in uniform circular motion that if direction is changing or the speed is constant, it means velocity is not constant, because velocity is a vector quantity. So if velocity is not constant, it is an example of accelerated motion. The force that causes this acceleration and keeps the body moved along the circular path is acting towards the center. This force is called centripetal, meaning center seeking force. So when an object moves in a circular path, a force is acting on it towards the center, and this force is known as centripetal force. In the absence of this force, the stone flies off along a straight line path. So when you release the string, so the centripetal force reduces to zero and the stone flies off tangentially in a straight line. This straight line will be a tangent to the circular path. So this straight line is tangent. It makes a tangent with the circular path. The motion of moon around the earth is due to centripetal force. Now, moon is also revolving around the earth due to centripetal force. The centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth. So, who provides this centripetal force? Earth is responsible. Earth is attracting moon towards its center. That's why moon is revolving around the earth due to this centripetal force. If there were no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. So if there will be no centripetal force, then moon will move in a straight line path, in a straight line motion. It is seen that a falling apple is attracted towards the earth. Does the apple attract the earth? So the answer is yes. If earth is attracting the apple, apple also attract the earth. So if apple is also attracting the earth, why not we see that earth is moving towards the apple? Because we see just opposite of it, that apple is falling towards the earth. If so, we do not see the earth moving towards an apple. Why? So according to third law of motion, the apple does attract the earth, but according to second law of motion, for a given force, acceleration is inversely proportional to mass of an object. So to answer this question, why not earth is moving towards an apple, take help of Newton's second law of motion, which measures force. We know that force is equal to mass into acceleration. So we can say that acceleration is equal to force by mass. So from this formula, you can say that acceleration is inversely proportional to mass of the object. Now, the mass of apple is very less in comparison to the mass of earth. That's why the same force produces a large acceleration in apple. That's why apple is falling towards the earth. Whereas mass of earth is very large in comparison to mass of apple. So the same apple apply force on earth, but due to very huge mass of earth, the acceleration is very less and there is no effect on the earth. That's why earth is not moving towards the apple. The mass of apple is negligibly small compared to that of earth, so we do not see the earth is moving towards the apple. Extend the same argument for why the earth does not move towards the moon. So the same on the same argument or on the same basis we can say that that's why earth is not moving towards the moon, because mass of earth is very large in comparison to moon. That's why earth is attracting moon and provide a centripetal force to it. That's why it is revolving around the earth. Whereas mass of moon is very less in comparison to earth. So moon is also applying a force on the earth, but the effect is less. In our solar system, all planets go around the sun. By arguing the same way, we can say that there exists a force between sun and planets. So in solar system, as you know, there are a number of planets, asteroids, and in the center we have a sun, and all planets are moving around the sun, and only this centripetal force or the force of attraction between the sun and the planets is responsible for their motion. From the above facts, Newton concluded that not only does the earth attract an apple and the moon, but all objects in the universe attract each other. This force of attraction between the object is called gravitational force. So on this basis, on these phenomena, Newton observed that all objects are attracting each other in this universe with a force. And how to measure this force, that we will learn now. So first statement for Newton universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. So write universal law of gravitation, a very important topic. Write every object in the universe, attract every other object with a force which is proportional to product of their masses, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, So suppose there are two masses one is big mass, capital M, another is small mass, and suppose they are separated by a distance d. You can mark these masses as A and B. So A apply a force on B. As a result, B also apply a force on A. So, according to Newton's law of gravitation, the force of attraction between them will be equal to product of their masses. It means F is proportional to m into m, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. It means F is proportional to 1 by d square. So we will derive a mathematical expression for it. The statement you have written. Now draw this diagram. Draw the diagram. think you all have drawn it. So write, let two objects A and B, let two objects A and B of masses capital M and small m lie at a distance d from each other, as shown in figure. Let F be the force of attraction between them. Let F, capital F, be the force of attraction between them. Then, according to universal law of gravitation, force between two objects is directly proportional to product of their masses, that is, F is proportional to M into M. Write this line, F is proportional to M into M, and the force between two objects is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. That is, F is proportional to 1 by d square. Now mark these expressions as equation number 1 and 2. Then write, from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2, we can write F is proportional to mm by d square. Equation 1, F is proportional to product of their masses, and according to law, force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So both the expressions are for force. So we are combining these expressions. So we can write F is proportional to mm by d square. Then we are removing this proportionality sign and we are writing, or F is equal to gmm by d square. Mark it as equation number 3. F is equal to gmm by d square. Must write capital G, not the small one. After writing equation 3, you write where G is a constant of proportionality, where G is a constant of proportionality. G is a constant of proportionality, known as universal gravitation constant, known as universal gravitation constant. Universal gravitation constant. Then we will find out the SI unit for universal gravitation constant. So from equation 3, SI unit of G, from equation 3, we have what will be the value of G? So it will be FD square by mm.